Oh, just when we thought La Union couldn't get any better, it does, because we turned up this morning. The surf is pumping, and we are here to crown World Junior Champions this week. My name is Jessie Starling, joined in the booth by Di Wacko. Day one, it was a big day, but we just got to see this incredible amount of talent come from our junior surfers.
Definitely a lot of strong performances and exciting performances on the day one. It's day two, and we're gonna have some big heats today again.
We plowed through a lot of action yesterday. We got through all of the opening round for the men. We got through 6 of the 8 heats of the opening round of the women. It felt like it was just going to be a massive first day, no matter what. We've got a couple of highlights that we're going to roll through for day number 1. If you missed any of the action, enjoy what we've got now.
I'm an all-star in every sport. Bases loaded, we running full court. It's a touchdown, you better press record. I'm a champion with rings, but I need more. I'm an all-star in every sport. Bases loaded, we running full court. It's a touchdown, you better press record. I'm a champion with rings, but I need more. Prime time 21, yeah, on my Dion. I'm cooler than the AC on blast with the Freon. Run you over with the shoulder, that's the one you lean on. Hook shot, I'm a dream, tell you be gone. Game time, cross you over like triple too much. Yeah, I'm used to playing tackle, I don't know nothing about touch. Hit your fastball, play some Mookie, better home run. Cause I've been doing this just like Brady in the shotgun. I run the 40-yard dash and a heartbeat. It happened in the flash like nobody else can stop me. Home court advantage or the outdoor concrete. Anyone can get it or the competition obsolete. I'm an all-star in every sport.
I mean, it doesn't really get much better than that on day number 1. The swell, it picked up throughout the day. There was this pleasant surprise that we had here at Mona Lisa Point, and we just saw every single one of our competitors continuously lift.
Definitely, we had just like you mentioned, unexpected swell. It was 2 foot in the morning, and throughout the day, it becomes like 4 foot, the solid 4 foot on the set, and it was pumping whole day. It was a big, massive day, but today we had same condition like yesterday, looking really, really beautiful.
Yeah, it's looking extremely fun out there this morning. We've also got blue skies, a really nice temperature. We, of course, are in the tropics. Thinking about the rest of today, we've got a big day of surfing. But when you take a look at the draw, I mean, the accolades of these juniors, it's out of control. We've got Stab High champions, previous World Junior Champions, Championship Tour surfers, Challenger Series surfers. The list of how incredibly talented these juniors are, it's out of this world.
Definitely, juniors surfing level is just up there. It's a CT level, and we're gonna see winner of the Stab High in about 30 minutes. So it's on.
Yeah, it's definitely on. We've got this beautiful drone angle shot this morning here of right where we are in San Juan, La Union, the point that we get to surf on Mona Lisa, and we just see the juniors make it look so fun, so rippable. We're lucky to be back here for the second time to crown World Junior Champions. Last year we saw Luana Silva, Bronson Mady take the win and take home that trophy. Based on your day 1 highlights so far, Di, thinking about the men's, because we haven't seen the entirety of the women's round yet, who's your kind of standout for taking home that trophy?
I gotta say Winter Vincent, his surfing is improving so much throughout the 2025 season, because he was surfing in the CS Tour whole season, and I can see his level is just up there. And I would say Dan Henry, he was a little bit feeling sick yesterday, but still surfing great, incredibly.
Yeah, Dane was looking really sharp. And for someone who was a little bit under the weather as well, he definitely didn't make it look like it, but I agree. Winter looking super sharp. As far as actually, let's change over to what we're going to see this morning. The WSL World Junior Championships, day number 2 is going to be underway. Opening round, heat number 7. Talia Swindle will be in the red. Bahiti Mahana Inso from Hawaii in the blue. And Emily Jenkinson from South Africa out there in the white. We just heard that morning who to go, and we are underway of competition here this morning. So we're picking up with 35-minute heats again to finish out this round. As far as you look at the talent in this water, Di, it feels like we're going to be kicking off the morning in a really strong way.
Definitely, and the waves are firing today again. It's glassy morning. There's little bit of texture on the surface, but still, when the set comes, it's just firing, just peeling nicely along the reef, and it gives you a lot of opportunities for all the surfers. So we're gonna be seeing some big performances.
Yeah, chatting to Huey Vaughan, I ran into him on my walk to work this morning. He was like, it's kind of pumping out there. It's definitely better than yesterday. Conditions looking a lot cleaner. Obviously, we're looking at the West Philippine Sea, and this particular reef break loves a good north swell. So we're dealing with that again here this morning. Lighter winds, maybe a fraction smaller, but we're still seeing those bigger looking sets come through. Feeling like those mid-sized sets, though, they're kind of still the ones to pick off here this morning.
Definitely, it drops off a little bit, but I reckon it's better situation for this point. Like we mentioned yesterday, the medium ones are better, just peeling along the reef. So probably, just like Huey says, it's better than yesterday.
No one better to tell us about the conditions here this morning than our own Stace Galbraith, who's down with a conditions update.
Yes, yeah, good morning. Good morning, Di. Yeah, yesterday was a ripper day. We had lots of different action, heaps of waves. Got maybe too big in the afternoon, but I think today's going to be perfect here with an SMC infrastructure update. And the height of the swell's actually dropped off, but the period's still there. So I think it's actually going to hit the reef a lot better today, as Di mentioned. A little bit smaller here, probably a little bit better. And what better way to get us started with the two last heats of that opening round of the women's absolutely stacked. Then we're going to go into the men's elimination round. We'll get through all of that round, and then the women's elimination round's actually on standby as well. So expecting another big day surfing down here, Jess.
Yeah, Stace, what's the vibe like down on the beach this morning?
It's always kind of heaving, to be honest, which is sort of catches me off guard. You walk along the beach and you're kind of thinking, I'm just going to ease into the day. But no, it's already packed. Bean bags are full. Yeah, I guess that's just how it is in the Philippines, non-stop.
Non-stop. Save yourself a beanbag, Stace. Get amongst it.
No, on the trotters all day, Jess. You know me, working hard.
Awesome. Thanks, Stace. All right, straight into live action here. Talia Swindle kicking us off for day number 2 here. Nice second connection. She's got a really strong power hack. Not really getting to show it off on that opening wave there, but Talia, been in the World Juniors before. She's made it a quarter-final finish here, semi-final finish actually, losing to Sierra Kerr, but this is her first wave here, Di.
She took off really deep, but managed to come around the section. She hit the section really nice, generating so much speed. Unfortunately, that wave just shut down on her, but definitely it's a good quick start because it's 35 minutes hit, and it always, you kind of get to be the person who's waiting for the ones for quite a long time because it's a long heat. But definitely it's better to have a quick start, and that's exactly what she did.
Yeah, 19 years old from Malibu over in America. She gets to compete with Vahiti Mahana Inso a little bit. She goes by Vi pretty commonly, who is from Hawaii. Both of them on that Challenger Series, so they come up against each other a fair amount of times in competition. But for someone like our South African Emily Jenkinson, this would be her first time coming up against big names like this.
That'll be there's going to be a lot of pressures, but coming here that means they're good in their region. They're coming in the top 2 in their region, so probably there will be some kind of pressures, but still they'll be fine.
Yeah, just 16 years old. So one of our younger surfers in the draw, Emily Jenkinson. She's competed on a pretty international stage before over at the ISA World Juniors, just in Peru pretty recently. It's cool to see, our juniors getting a couple of reps in over at the ISA over in Peru. Very different. It's a left-hander. It's very cold over there. Narrowed appealing right-hander, tropics. It's pretty cool to see how these guys adapt consistently all around the world. But how cool is La Union? There's just a plane hanging on the beach. We go straight into everyone hanging out down on the sand there. It feels like no matter where you go, there's always something going on down
Definitely.
here.
And then it's still 8 o'clock in the local time, and then there's a pack of people just hanging out on the beach, just vibing on the beach. So it's great to see that strong community.
Yeah, we're looking at the beachfront here right now on your shot, and then there's a full street behind it that has so much going on. There's restaurants, there's shopping, there's some cool little tourist centers as well. It's one of those places where it kind of is a hot spot to come to and hang out. Everybody loves it. You can see why a lot of people flock here on the weekends. Vi, really vicious first turn there, just the one, but you can see exactly what her intentions are. She's going to go big in this opening round. Big paddle here from Talia. Gets over Vi there, but yeah, felt like that wave might have had a bit of a slower pace to it, but Vahiti, she's not mucking around here.
Nah, she's just She was just trying to get the first heat started. That was a great surfing from Vahiti Mahana. She did a great job at a Pipe Pro a couple weeks ago, but this is her backhand. Beautiful backhand attack. It's only, one single maneuver, but still great surfing, and I already can see that she's a very powerful backhand attacker.
Yeah, I really love her style as well, that really low drop knee, that kind of more traditional style of surfing as well. It feels really stylish, which is quite cool. Looks like we might have a paddle here from our South African. She's not super into that one, so a couple of those waves still trying to close out up on that first peak. We see on that low tide, sometimes it closes out there. You've got to pick those right ones that are going to stretch out down the point, just like this one here, our South African kicking off her campaign, but Finn's not holding in there, just skipping out a little bit.
Little bit, just weight on the back foot, so off the back foot a little bit. So it was really unfortunate for her. It was her first wave, so definitely, trying to take the edge off. This is her first heat at a World Junior Championships. There's still 28 minutes left.
Yeah, 35-minute heats to kick off these first two heats of the morning, and then we'll be finishing out the opening round, moving on through to the elimination round of the men, and then we have the women's on standby. They're all going to be 30 minutes long, but kicker is two-man heats in the elimination round. So it's only you and one other person out there for 30 minutes, Di. I mean, it's going to be pretty different to what we saw from the competition yesterday.
Definitely. It'll be better for the surfers, but also it'll be tricky to figure out where to sit, actually, because there's no people up there.
Yeah, it'll be one of those ones where really you've got to lock in, make sure you have your lineup styled. Obviously, we spoke about it a lot yesterday. Great coaches coming to this event, helping out our juniors. Right now, though, scores starting to lock in. So Vahiti, just the one turn, a 3.83. It's step in the right direction there.
Definitely. Judges are just showing that one big single maneuver will get rewarded, and that's exactly she got for the first wave, 3.83. That is a good start for thinking about it was just single maneuver.
Yeah, thinking about that last heat of the round yesterday, Anon Matsuoka taking it. It's obviously a lot different to what we saw yesterday afternoon, just like Stace mentioned. But Anon, she's always just been that powerhouse, and I feel like she was definitely one to watch yesterday afternoon. Definitely,
and she got this one big backhand turn, and it got the 6-point ride. So definitely you need to have just a couple of big turns, and then you get 6s and 7s, probably into the excellent range.
Yeah, we're looking at the beachfront right here. We've got the athletes area to the right, the judges and commentators area to the left there, and you can see just already so much support heading down the beach. We obviously have our presenting partners, Magnolia and Purefoods, who have just been delivering the goods all morning down the beach. They've got egg sandwiches, they've got coffee, and then you get to about midday when it starts to get really hot, they've got ice cream machines running. So it's one of those things where there's an endless supply of exactly what you need down here at San Juan. It looks like this is what we need, though. Waves from our competitors. Vahiti getting her second wave here. A bit of a slash to start this one off. You can really see just how she's demonstrating that power surfing. Clicks with that finishing section there, but I feel like, she's demonstrating how she's really strong, but you can see she's eager for more of an open face.
It was a good call for her to select this wave because it was smaller waves, peeling nicely along the reef. Nice first turn, just kind of a checking turn, just waiting for the wave to stand up and gets this finishing turn. So good 3-turn combo from her, and completely different approach compared to the her first wave.
Yeah, I really love her style. I know I touched on it before, but just how far her back foot is. We spoke about it yesterday, how on these rights, even though some of them can get a little bit slopier, you've got to be really on that back foot, and you can see it's all the way back on the kicker of her tail pad there, and that's going to give her so much drive into those sections.
Definitely love the back foot surfing here, and you always don't want to be on your front foot because maybe that will make you catching away a little bit. So definitely her technique is there, and it's just suiting this condition.
We've got scores locking in for that last one. So a 3.93, a couple of small scores to kick us off this morning. That 3.83 really standing out with that big one turn there for Vi. Talia Swindle, 3.17 for her big turn as well. She's a great, powerful surfer. We saw her on display in a pretty solid way over in Bolito at the Challenger Series there, where she came away with a pretty big result. And it was pretty cool to see, you know, Talia, best friends with Bella Kenworthy, came over to all of the Aussie CTs, to all of them, Burley, Bells and Margs, and you know, you could see she was really feeding off the energy of that championship tour. She was surfing with all of the competitors, and I felt like it really improved her surfing. And then Bella returned the favour and came and supported her in the first event of the year at Newcastle. And those two are here travelling together again, and it seems like they've got this really great friendship where they can compete with each other but push each other as well.
Wow, that is a good opportunity for two of them to have surfer like them. You know, they really focus surfer, competing in the highest level, and especially those, you know, ages in between like 10 to 20, you can get really good and better in about 12 months. So it's good to have travel with the same age group of the same age, and then traveling into the higher level competition.
Yeah, Talia and Bella, cool to see those two pushing each other. Seen Vi hanging out pretty closely with Lennox Smith and Huey Vaughan over here, surfing with them a bit. And they went on a pretty cool trip with Sunbum earlier in the year over in Indo. We saw some great footage come out of that. Mila Coco Brown was on that trip as well. So we kind of get to see this new wave of these competitors who also have a dabble in the free surfing. Reed Van Wagener on your screen right now. She is definitely one to watch, an absolute powerhouse. She came away with a pretty solid result here last year, and I'd never really come across her before until this event, and I was really pleasantly surprised with how hard she hits the lead.
Well, she looks really focused right now. I wonder what kind of music she's listening to now.
Yeah, it feels like probably a little bit of hype-up music for Reed. She loves a bit of energy. She came over to Bolito, competed over there. Right now, though, live action. Emily, just a quick in and out there for our young 16-year-old. You can see just trying to catch a couple more waves, find her feet at this point because, you know, just a 0.5 to her name right now, but she's got so much talent. You go to her Instagram, you can see so many clips. We've got two of our Aussie surfers coming up in that next one. Ranked number 1 in the white there, that's Isla Huppert. She took out the Oz Regional Series. And one of her good mates there, Sierra Curve. We all know her. 4-time Stab High champion. She's going to be coming up next. And she was here last year doing airs in the opening round. Hopefully we get that again here this morning.
Well, definitely. I heard a surf yesterday afternoon, but let's back to the live action.
Emily's trying to get a couple scores on the board here. Great looking first carve. A lot of body torque through that upper body there. Gets the finishing connection too. So this is a great step in the right direction for Emily Jenkinson. You can see just a really cool approach to her surfing. Great looking style here, Di.
Really love how she's done that on that wave. You know, she had a third priority, so there's, you know, she did a great, just keep busy and great couple of turns. So just shaking off the nerves. There's still 20 minutes left on the clock. So yeah, I had a surf yesterday afternoon, and Shira was there, and she was ripping, and she did some kind of airs, one of the straight airs. So definitely we're going to be seeing her doing the big airs.
Yeah, she doesn't look phased at all. She's looking pretty excited to be back in the Rashi. Had a bit of time off over the last year. She had a couple of health issues, but she's back feeling it better than ever, competing. And yeah, we're definitely excited to see Sierra Kerr in the water. She's already a previous World Junior Champion, so she wants to be one of those few people that has 2 under her belt. So we'll see her in that next heat coming up in just over 20 minutes time. Right now, it's still Vi. She's out there in the lead, a 3.93 and a 3.83. But for what we saw was super consistent this morning. Lots of waves starting to roll through. A little bit quiet in this heat.
I know, yeah. I've seen a lot of set coming through this morning when I was walking from the hotel to the contest venue. But yeah, like you said, it's been really quiet. You know, I think we are just passing the low tide this morning about 8:30, I would say. But looks like
Talia, she's going to try and get a bit more work done here. Floats this next section. Bit more energy here. Just loses connection with her board on that end section. We were getting excited. It felt like something big was coming. It's just early in the morning, you know.
Right.
Sometimes you just got to fall a couple times before it really does start to click. Maybe a little bit of energy coming our way here. We'll see if Vi or Emily can get themselves in position for these coming through sets right now. Here we go. It is going to be our lady in blue, Vahiti, current heat leader, looking to add. She's highlining through this section here, trying to get around. She's got a bowl in front of her, but just couldn't get her weight over that front foot there, Di.
What live actions continues.
Yeah, we'll see if she can make the most of this set. Beautiful carve, but it's just that one turn there. So a couple of mistakes from all three of our competitors in that last exchange.
Wow, just like you mentioned yesterday a couple of times, it's always good to not to race down the line. You can generate so much speed, but it's gonna be really hard to control the surfboard. So probably, I think it's a good idea to not take off really deep. And then yesterday, when I was surfing this point, I kind of found out that every wave looked really nice, and every waves looked like they're gonna have opportunities to hit. So you kind of I was struggling to get actually the good waves in there. So definitely it's good. It's pumping today, but also it's tricky to get the right ones. Yeah,
we see time and time again. It is just one of those ways where you do have to hit what's right in front of you. It's so easy to get sucked into that trap of, I'll just go round and I'll get down the line. But the longer you wait to get around that section, usually the fatter that wave gets through that inside. And you can see that there's going to be some big scores on offer, even just for a couple big turns. Right now, though, we've got a little bit of the break in the water. We've got 18 minutes to go. Vahiti in the lead. Stay tuned. We're going to go a quick break and see if she can hold on to that lead. Said it before, we will say it again. La Union San Juan is providing the goods this morning. Waves looking so fun here. Day number 2 of the World Junior Championships presented by Magnolia and Purefoods. I'm Jessie, joined by Di. We got the first heat of the morning out there. It's opening round number 1, heat number 7. Vahiti Mahana Inso from Hawaii currently holding down the lead with a pair of threes, but what we've seen is with some really nice power surfing. We're just touching on how you can kind of get a little bit fooled about trying to race and get to that wide section when there is some big turns out there in front of you. Someone who nailed that brief, we spoke about her briefly just before, Anon Matsuoka. She came to mind straight away. Just those big turns, thinking of Arena Rodriguez as well yesterday. It feels like maybe there's a little bit more potential in just those big single maneuvers.
Definitely, just judges are showing clear message to all the athletes that one single maneuver will do the job, because yesterday, like you mentioned, Anon got a 6-point ride for the big backside attack, and so that means you probably need a couple of hits, so you don't really want to be chasing the line down, racing the down the line and just waiting for the section to come up, but just like you said, you gotta hit what in front of you.
Yeah, so we're pretty much 20 minutes down in this heat. So 35-minute heats for these first two. Then we're rolling into 30 minutes for the elimination round. We're going to have to start to say goodbye to some of our competitors here. Talia, she's going to use priority on what is a nice-looking wave in front of her. Swoops to start off. That's the power surfing we know and love from Talia Swindle. Best turn of the heat so far, I'm going to say.
That was a beautiful combination. I love how she was patient on the bottom turn and then straight into the big last section.
Yeah, we're not mucking around. More live action, tight turn in the pocket here for Vi. Didn't muck around, straight back into the lip and holds on. Is there a question mark around the finish there, Di?
Gotta say it was a question mark for the landing. I'm not too sure if it's gonna be a completion, but definitely beautiful first turn. That was a big, strong, carving turn from her. But unfortunately, on the last turn, it was kind of a question.
Yeah, I feel like potentially a little bit on the back foot. I think the judges will pay it. But you always got to be a little bit careful with those completions. It can slightly slip away from you from time to time. Right now, though, loving that last wave of Talia Swindle. We'll get another look at those in just a moment. It's going to apply a little bit of pressure to our lady in the lineup right now, Emily Jenkinson. Couple of small scores to her name, a 2.5 and a 1.53, but we've seen some really cool flair come from her surfing so far in this heat. So 14 minutes. It's still a really open playing field right now.
Definitely, it's just everyone's game, and it's being quiet, but definitely if you can wait for the right ones, just Ocean is providing great opportunities. Just like last two sets. It was a great wave and a few scores on the way.
We're our big number locking in. Best of the heat so far, a 6-5 for the last of Talia Swindle, straight to the lead, meaning that last wave of Vahiti needs to be a 5-7-5 to get her back into that first place. Like we mentioned yesterday, first straight to the round of 16. Second and third, unfortunately, they're going to have to go through the elimination round. Now, we've touched on it before. Not a bad thing to surf in the elimination round. We saw both of our champions go through that round last year. So maybe, you are going to feel the pressure of the elimination round. But we're going to take another look at this big 6-5 here, Di.
Love the first turn and love how she was staying in the bottom really patiently and she hit the section really hard, clean landing. And I love how she approaches the section, throwing buckets of spray straight into the section, a little bit late to the section, hold on to it, but not sure if it's going to be completion, but looks like it's a completion.
Yeah, it feels like it was. That first turn definitely had a lot of spice in it, that one for Vi. A 5-3-3 for that last wave. So now we've got a bit of a battle on our hands. Vi knocked down to second. So Talia Swindle holding down the lead with a 6-5 and a 3-1-7. Bit of pressure now on our Hawaiian, chasing a 4-3-5. Not a big score, but you can't force a 4-3-5. There's got to be something kind of special on it. And here is the Victorian, now lives in Queensland, Isla Huppets, but AFL, a big part of her life. This is part of her routine, no matter where she is in the world, has to pass the AFL ball around. And then, of course, Sierra Kerr with the man. We all know him. He's a big name in our sport, Josh Kerr. And you really couldn't ask for anyone better in your corner.
Definitely. He travels for over 20 years and he knows every wave pretty much on this earth. So definitely great one to have in your corner. There's going to be a lot of talking in between them.
We saw Josh compete in a couple of the Challenger Series events starting of the year over at Newcastle, and it was pumping at Newcastle, and Josh was absolutely ripping. It was pretty solid too, and he was on this twin fin doing these crazy laybacks under these solid 5-foot lips, so it's cool to see that Josh still has the fire. He's looking just as locked in as Sierra at this point. Clancy Dawson just to the left of him, great coach from Australia. Right now though, our South African looking to add some more points to the board. 16 years old, so much talent coming from young Emily. Puts it on rail again for another turn. Unfortunately, just not getting that powerful wave that she's looking by. She's chasing down the lead here, and that's one way to go for it. Unfortunately, though, can't hold on for the finish there, so needs a 4-3-5. Talia's got priority and the lead. She's going to need to be making sure that decision-making in the next 10 minutes is on point.
That's for sure, and this is a replay of last white. She took off really nicely there, but it was kind of hard to surf on this wave. There was like two peaks, turning to the one-way wave, but there was not much opportunities for her. But this is the important wave, needing small score. She was on the way to the score actually, but unfortunately couldn't really stick to the landing.
Yeah, just a bit of a smaller wave, that one there, Di. Maybe a little bit of strategy in those smaller inside ones. They look up, they bowl pretty nicely, but they're shorter looking waves. Emily, great section there, capitalizes on that one too. Loving the way her board's looking under her feet. Unfortunately, that is just going to be the one turn, but it feels like she's starting to loosen up a little bit.
Definitely, different strategy is working for her, just getting those smaller ones, but probably getting, even though you want to get the smaller ones, you kind of want to be at the point. You don't want to be down the point, because like you said, you can easily approach the deeper section.
Yeah, you're not going to get probably over a 4 down the point there, especially when that wave starts to taper out from up the point. Talia looking with another big section, up and over. Cool skatey approach to that one. She's going to keep chasing more down the line. Can't quite get to that end section there, but you can see now Talia, she's starting to loosen up a little bit herself. She's looking free. We're seeing those bigger open sections just start to get capitalized, and her completion rate, it's gone up from the start of the heat.
Definitely, seems like she started to figuring out where to sit and what kind of wave she should get, because her wave selection is on point. That last wave was great looking wave and did a great job on that wave. So definitely she's going to get rid of the 3.17.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing what that score comes in at and just how much it's going to ask for our other competitors. Right now, oh, there it is. It's going to come in straight away. It's a 4.83, that last one for Talia. So now our Hawaiian Vi, she's looking for a 6.01. 8.5 minutes to go. Emily Jenkinson from South Africa needs an 8.83. So a pretty solid score there. Excellent number. This is all right, though. We've got the opening round. They're going to get another chance no matter what. Reed starting to get ready as well. I'm looking forward to this next heat. A lot of big names, and this is a great way to round out the opening round.
Wow. There's another morning. I mean, the prep for her, stretching. Did you have any prep, like heat prep?
Yeah, I had some weird heat preps going down. I had this, actually, we'll get back to that in a second. Replay here of this one, Di. We loved this wave
Wow. Wave selection was on point. Just time it super well. Releases the fins a little bit. Come around the section, trying to get one more in. Unfortunately, Wave didn't really cooperate, but still, she did exactly what she can do on that wave, and definitely great techniques from Talia.
Yeah, it felt cool, that snap. It looked like she was up and over the coping. Fins would have been out the back for sure on that one for Talia. She's got this really cool approach to her surfing, similar to Bella, where it's almost like this skateboard style approach to it. I actually really enjoy it.
Me too. Really enjoy the skating approach, especially when they release the fins and just coping the section and just drives off that lip. So it was, they got some great techniques.
Yeah, love it. But no, I had really weird preheat warm-up. I had this, fully outing myself here, I had this crystal necklace, and I was obsessed with it. It was like rainbow crystal necklace when I was younger, and I would hold that and I would listen to the same 3 songs, and then I would stretch still holding the crystal necklace, and then I'd visualize holding the crystal necklace, and then I would go surf my heat.
That's a good heat prep, actually.
It was honestly from when I was probably 12 all the way through to when I stopped competing a couple of years ago.
So
Still
that's
had
your
this same
go-to.
necklace. I loved it. It was like my thing. I don't know where it is anymore. We're going to take another look at this last wave here, Di. This is this cool skateboard technique we were talking about. You can see really pushing that back foot at the top of the wave there.
Beautiful surfing. Just like you said, I love the second turn. Just get over the coping section and then just drive off the section. And unfortunately, didn't get a finishing time, but it was enough for her to extend her lead.
Yeah, nothing quite like clicking with a section like that. Feeling like you're floating on top of the wave. It's honestly, it's the greatest, it's the coolest feeling actually. So Talia making that happen in a Rashi, and you can see obviously we've got this kind of double world in our sport. We have competitive surfers and free surfers. Some people can't do that type of surfing in a Rashi. It really does take a certain type of someone to be able to feel so loose and free to put the best foot forward. It feels like Talia's kind of found that flow state.
Definitely, probably first half of the heat, everybody's just struggling to get figure out where to sit and what kind of wave they should get. But now, like you said, they are all loosened up and just ready to perform.
Yeah, looking great. We're pretty much 30 minutes down in this heat already, so flying by for this opening heat this morning. 5 minutes to go. Talia Swindle holding it down, a 6.5 and a 4.83. Pretty solid lead against her competitors. Vi with a good score of a 5.33, looking for a 6.01. Pretty cool Vahiti. She's always had support from Carissa Moore in her corner, which is one of the greatest of our sport. It's got to be, I feel like it's got to feel amazing to know that you have the support from a 5-time world champion.
Definitely. What could more, you can ask for. That is a great person to have in your corner. And then she did a great job at a Flowland Spike Pro, coming with 9th place finish. So definitely she's capable of getting those bigger waves, but as well as these rippable waves here.
Yeah, two of these ladies in this heat will be heading over to Pipe for the next Challenger Series. Big section goes down, unfortunately, for Talia Swindle. Just too much on that toe side rail there. We've seen a couple boards be snapped in situations like that there, so she's lucky to come out with her board in one piece there.
Definitely. I was like, I hope she's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of power out there, Di. You would have got a good feel for it yesterday afternoon by looking for a score here. Great first turn. It's just a single one, but you can see just the mass amount of power that comes from these waves, especially when they explode on that inside section. You've got to be well and truly in control of your equipment.
Definitely, on screen it looks really mellow when the set comes, but like you said, the inside section can get really hollow, and it just picked up really quickly. So it's hard to time it right. And then, just like you said, there's so much power coming from the wave.
Looking like Vi, she's not done yet. She wants some more. Not super keen on that one. She's chasing a pretty big score now. It's going to be a 6-0-1, so you can get that in one turn like we saw from Anon Arena yesterday. But 2 turns out there as well. It'd be nice to get a combo of maneuvers, so we'll see how our Hawaiian can answer back in the next 3 minutes. Big score required of our South African surfer, an 8.83. Emily Jenkinson, she's got so much talent, but feeling like maybe, sometimes in these opening rounds, the pressure really does start to mount up and you can get in your head a little bit more. She'll be watching this heat back and have a couple takeaways from it.
Definitely, it's good to have that elimination round, heat like this, because you want to perform your best surfing, but sometimes, like you said, there's so much noise going on in your mind and then you can't surf like you surf usual. But definitely it's good to have an elimination round, and you can watch the heat again and then learn from it and then maybe perform better in an elimination round.
Yeah, so that is what's coming up after the next heat. So we've got one last heat of the opening round to roll through in just over 2 minutes' time, and it's a pretty solid-looking heat. Reed Van Wagener from the United States taking on Sierra Kerr and Isla Huppets from Australia. So they'll be battling it out in the next 2 minutes, like we mentioned. First place straight through to the round of 16. Second and third, we'll see them compete again today. This is going to be our South African having a look here. Looks like a good bowl in front of her. Slash to start this one off. Loving the speed she's got down the line. Unfortunately, had to pull through that one there. So just getting away from her. She's coming off a big second place in the Ripkel Grand Search over in Hossegor a couple months ago. Trying to channel that same energy right now for Emily. 90 seconds to go here. Can see Vaihiti sharking around. She wants that score.
Definitely, she's just super hungry for the first place, just moving around the section. But the first priority with Talia, and she's not going to let her have the wave because she has first priority. Probably she's going to play some difference now. Yeah,
you'd have to think with a minute to go, Talia won't let a 6 roll through her fingers with first priority. So she's going to get nice and close to Vaihiti. Just textbook competition surfing here from both of our girls. Unfortunately, we did see an interference yesterday, so all of the competitors, they'd be really locking into that, making sure they're keeping a little bit of distance, because the judges, they're not mucking around. They're saying you've got to keep your distance. We're playing by the rules. We're not letting anything slip through. So 35 seconds to go here. Maybe some lines starting to roll through. Priority is with Talia. You can see by getting out of the way. Talia playing defense here. Coming through the inside. She wants to build her scoreline. Checks that first section. Love when there's some oncoming water coming her way. Unfortunately, couldn't connect with that one there. 15 seconds. We're going to see a last-ditch effort here from Emily. Smaller looking inside one. A couple foam on the face, but starting to find her flow here. That's more like it from Emily Jenkinson. That's the type of surfing we're used to seeing from her. Unfortunately, we're not going to see another ride from Vaihiti Inso, but it is going to be Talia Swindle taking it out through to the round of 16. Vaihiti and Emily will see them again in the elimination round. Don't go anywhere. Last heat of the opening round coming up. Sierra Kerr, Isla Huppets, Reed Van Wagener. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. We have 48 of the world's best junior surfers battling it out for a World Junior Championship. Right now, this is the last heat of the opening round. Reed Van Wagener in the red, taking on Australia's Sierra Kerr and Isla Huppets. What a way to finish out the opening round here. We've got a stacked heat in our hands. We've got a stacked booth in our hands, because guess what? It's the Starling sisters.
That is an intro for the century, Jessie. That was incredible. Okay, I have to go back and re-record that.
Yeah, I'll do it for you if you want.
Thank
Should I
you.
do it again?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sam, can we rewind it? I'm kidding. We got a pretty solid heat here at Boots.
Yep.
Putting you straight on the spot. This is maybe the most stacked heat of the round.
Yeah, it really is. When I saw this heat yesterday, I was talking with Stace during that last heat of the day, and I was like, hang on a minute. These last two heats of this women's opening round is stacked. That last heat was so huge in regards to names on paper, and now this one, we have a WSL World Junior Champion in this heat. This is crazy.
Yeah, Sierra looking to be one of the few to take home the trophy, not once, but twice. And you know, Diana, were talking, she's had a bit of a rough trot over the last year, had some bad health issues, couldn't compete in a lot of the Challenger Series events last year. Amidst the health issues, though, became a 4-time Stab High champion. So she's got the talent no matter what. You know, she's definitely got a really long future on her hands. We'd love to see her channel a bit of that Stab High energy here at San Juan.
Bring it on. I'm ready to see it. And I feel like even looking at some of the women, we've got Sky Suit. She's coming up in the elimination round a little bit later on today. And there's so many other women, I guess, that are in here. Vahiti Mahana, Inso, that are so good in the air that you're thinking, okay, how what are we going to see right now? Are we going to see heats where these women are going to go to the sky? I'm here for it. I'm ready to see it because I feel like female surfing at this point is going in that direction and it has been for a while. So let's bring it on for these World Junior Championships.
Yeah, taking it back. Think back to Carissa Moore's air reverse at Newcastle that year. We had a championship tour there. That really started to feed into that junior surfing. They were already pushing the limits. You know, thinking of Tia Zabrowski, obviously Sierra Kerr, Katie Simmers.
Yep.
And now this next generation, we're seeing 13-year-olds land full rotations.
Yeah.
And it's terrifying.
I don't know what you were doing at 13, Jessie, but I was not doing that.
Flat caps. That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
And muscle tees.
I think I'm going to line this up and we'll get some examples going at some point over the week.
No. Two can play that game. Careful. Careful now.
Stones and glass houses.
No real rides just yet so far. Obviously, Reed Van Wagener coming here last year and such a standout, you know, a really strong goofy footer and honestly a real chance for victory here.
Yeah, 16 years old. She's on the Challenger Series. As you said, Jessie, she's, you know, a strong goofy footer. She's got that power behind her as well.
Isla Huppets, having a look. We love Isla, one of the strongest surfers coming out of Australia right now. Had a second place finish at a big QS 6000. Looking for something big. Starts to jam the tail here. This is what we love from Isla Huppets. Bit of variety. Starting to flare up. She's got to be, you know, one of the underdogs coming out of Australia junior surfing. She's now getting her name out there a little bit more, but probably one of the most talented under 18-year-old surfers coming out of Oz.
Yeah, she definitely is. And I think, you know, you're looking at that and she's an underdog, but she took out the Australia Oceania Pro Junior region. You know, so for her, she hasn't really been competitive surfing on the QS and the Pro Junior for a long time, but she's been making statements and they've been loud. You know, thinking back to a lot of the events throughout the year, Isla's just been really consistent, and it feels like every single event she comes to, she just gets more and more confident, and that's, you know, a real scary realm for the other competitors to be watching because they're like, well, hang on a minute, Isla Huppets just gets better each time she's in a heat. I know that she has Clancy Dawson here, part of Surfing Australia, supporting all the Australian athletes as well. So, and her dad, Marcus, is here too. This is a look at that replay. A little bit of a whitewashy takeoff for Isla. There's a bit of a slow moment here. Love how she just extends on that rail this turn. That was a good moment. Lights up into it. She really has those turns on lock. She didn't try and force that wave. She didn't try and do too much, but that's the money turn right there. That's where a bulk of the points are going to come from. And yeah, her board, I know that she's been working really closely with the Board Lab and Sharp Eye, and she's been trying to really, you know, focus on her equipment and what she's riding.
Yeah, Liam and Adzi really looking after their Board Lab team riders, just like Isla Huppets. Really impressed by that opening heat from Talia Swindle. She took out a very convincing win. Stace, have a chat with her for us.
Yeah, love to. Thanks, Jess. Took a couple to get going, but when you did, you absolutely belted one. Great start to the day.
Yeah, great start today. Definitely had those first heat nerves. Like, I've been here for a week and waves have been cooking the whole time, so I was just amping to surf a heat, and yeah, glad to get it done.
What's the feeling like when that buzzer goes and there's waves breaking all around you?
Yeah, no, I was definitely a little like hesitant at the start, just like kind of got caught in the middle, like fighting for the position. But then once the waves started coming, it was like kind of all started to like play out, and yeah.
So you've been here for a week. Have you just been out the front the whole time, or have you been surfing around the place?
Yeah, I've only surfed this wave the whole time, which is pretty crazy. Like normally I like to like venture out and surf other waves, but I love a good right point. It feels like home, so yeah.
Awesome. Well, you're skipping around now. You can get a little look around, fun little lefts and rights down the beach. I'm sure there's lots of people tuning in back at home. Did you want to say hello?
Yeah, what's up to probably my dad, my sister, all my friends. Love and miss you guys. Just keep it going.
Congratulations, well done. Thanks, Jess.
Thanks, Stace. She's so cool.
Yeah.
She's got a really cool flair to her. I like it a lot. I actually ran into her yesterday. She saw me get annihilated on the wall walking home. I got so splashed by a wave, and Talia ran straight to me. I was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I'm fine." Sierra, wow, jams it to start off her campaign here. Looking like she is in form for this event. Scores locking in. Iowa Huppets 4-6-7 to start off her campaign too. This is a solid heat. I know we talked about it, but this has to be the heat of the round. Isla having a look, Reed saying, hey, I've got priority. She's looking to start up her campaign here. Pushes hard off this tail. Love when there's a section coming her way and just unleashes Reed Van Wagener. Wow, we've had a great start from all three of our competitors.
This is, the heat of all heats really right now for this opening round of the World Junior Champs. I feel like Reed, as we said before, she's 16 from Carlsbad. She surfs waves of consequence. She's on that Challenger Series. It's really interesting to see a lot of these Challenger Series come to this event and have that maturity, and Reed is really showing that right now, but she almost needs to lift again, because with Isla and Sierra, I mean, that first wave of Sierra's, she's looking like she's hungry for a second, to go double with that World Junior title.
Reed, also an incredible longboarder.
Yeah, her brother's on the the WSL longboard tour.
Oh, no way. Very talented surfing family. I love when you see, people double dip, whether it's in the longboarding or in the shortboarding, thinking of an Indonesian who's incredible at it, Danny Widianto, does a lot of shortboarding and longboarding, and we're starting to see it kind of cross-pollinate between the two now.
I love it. I honestly take my hats off to people that can do both, because it is such a different... I know that it's still surfing, but it's so different. It's such a different part of the sport that it's honestly elegant to watch. I love it. I love seeing that longboarding with different approaches, but then you have those short, sharp bursts of shortboarding, and it gets you really excited.
Yeah, a couple of different styles and approaches to longboarding. We're going to break that all down after this event here, right at San Juan, for a pretty big international LQS where a couple people are going to the championship tour. So plenty of surfing coming up over the next 2 weeks here in the Philippines. Right now in this heat, though, scores locking in, but we're going to have to wait to read him out. Isla Huppets on a bowly looking wave here. Attack mode for Isla Huppets. Big finner there. That is exactly what we see her do time and time again out deeper.
Wow, that was huge.
Sierra, she wants a piece of it too. Lays in, just losing her footing there for Sierra Kerr, but I'm calling the biggest turn we've seen in the women's division so far.
That's an easy score to put down, I think, for Isla Huppets. That was, first of all, the section that she had there, that bowly, clean, beautiful section in front of her, and then she absolutely laid into it, fins out, gets that tweak as well. That is so hard to do, and the commitment that she had for that section, it wasn't even like she was second guessing it. She's like, yeah, I do this in my sleep. I'm ready to go. That is, I think that's going to be a big score for Isla Huppets. It was an excellent turn.
Yeah, Isla on her way to the Challenger Series as well. She's currently ranked number 2 in the Australia-Oceania region. Couple more events to run there, but she's with surfing like that, she's Challenger Series ready.
Oh, absolutely. She's ready for, some big moments in her career, and at such a young age as well. She's making a statement, Jessie, and this score is big.
Oh, my God. 9-point ride for that last turn of Isla Huppets. Excellent surfing. 1 point off being a perfect 10. Biggest section that we've seen, and Isla just absolutely folding this section in half.
Wow. Let's just let this Oh, do the talking. That was such a big turn. You could see how deep she was off the bottom as well, and then just absolutely belts it. And half her board was out the back of that wave. That is so hard to do. And honestly, that would have been a 9 in the men's side of the draw as well for this event, because that turn is highlight for me of the event so far. That was huge.
Yeah, 10 minutes in, we already have our first excellent score of the day so far. And we really didn't expect anything less. This heat, it was always going to be a standout one. 9 points for Isla Huppets. I mean, and in a single turn, well, what happens if she does 2? You know, we're 18, let's go there. I mean, that was a serious looking turn. Gonna call it even CT worthy, that turn.
Absolutely.
You know? You see, she draws a lot of inspiration. You can tell in her surfing by Katie Simmers, Molly Picklum as well. Those big finner turns that we're so in love with seeing from those top tier women. You can tell it really does filter through the generations.
And the scary part is that's probably not even Isla at her best. That's just what she does every day. You know, so you're looking at that and you're thinking, wow, that's a 9-point turn. That's huge. How much better can she get? Well, she will. You know, she'll start to build throughout the event, and that's where we're going to start to see more excellent scores come in. But I also love seeing how Reed and Sierra are going to answer back in this heat. Reed got that 6 a little bit earlier on. She is, as we mentioned before, a Challenger Series surfer. She's ready to rise to those occasions. And Sierra as well, we know that she's good in the air, 4-time stab high champion. That's huge. And I feel like this conversation that they're going to have it's going to be, a shuffle in the leaderboard.
I feel like we're going to see something pretty special from all of our competitors in the next 22 and a half. Sierra looking for it here. Big section as well. Goes down, showing how much water. Isla, she does it again, not mucking around. Another big section coming her way. And getting that one under the priority of Reed as well. So, wow, there would be a lot of thoughts starting to flow through all of our competitors' heads, not just Reed and Sierra. Isla would be like, all right, I need to hold down this lead. How am I going to do it? Well, guess what? I got a 9 for that last one. I'll just hit it like that again.
Yeah, that's all she has to do. That's the judges are basically telling her what her turns are getting scored, you know, and I think this is going to be really interesting because Isla, she's got room to move now. She's got that 9, a 4, 6, 7 she needs to upgrade. She's got a score to come through. Sierra, I feel like that first turn that she did, the 5.33, was so strong and so smooth. She surfs with so much speed and whip. So to see her on a wave that's similar to what Isla had on that 9, it's going to be a really cool approach and attack that she's got.
Yeah, I'm really fizzing to see that 9-point ride again. It was just so clutch in the pocket there for Isla Huppets. Looking at these scores, we've got all of them locked in at this point. So situation looking like this, 9 and a 6.83 has Isla Huppets in a very commanding lead. So commanding that Sierra Kerr is chasing 2 scores, 15.83 combination. She's got a 5.33 and a 2-point ride to her name with 21 on the clock, and Reed looking for a 9.83. Her high mark, a 6 for a pretty solid turn herself. So all of these surfers still pretty much sitting in first gear. If it came out and, you know, we watched the entire event and we look back to this first round and one of these 3 women took out the title, you wouldn't be surprised.
Not at all. This is a heat of champions right now. That turn there was so strong for Sierra. Unfortunately, goes down, and then this, a 6.83 for Isla. Different entry, a different turn, but still was really, really well rewarded. She's got the 9, as we said, a 6.83. I feel like looking at this heat on paper, we knew this was going to be a big heat, and it's really living up to that expectation. Isla, she's setting the standard, she's setting the tone and the pace in this heat. Now it's just time for Sierra and Reed to answer back. And Reed, you know, she does have those excellent scores in her. She's got the ability to get a 9.83. Once she gets a wave and opens up, we're going to see big things.
Yeah, Isla definitely putting a bit of a target on her back now. She'll have all the girls whispering and saying her name, because you think about competitors like Laura Rupp, Arena Rodriguez, they don't like losing.
No.
At all. And when you hear that one of the other girls on the other side of the draw from you has started off their campaign with a 9 and a 6.83, that's going to leave a taste in their mouth thinking, I want to come up against her. And I feel like we're going to see the competition now lift because of what Isla Huppets is doing in not even the first half of this heat. You know, we're not even halfway down.
Yeah, I'm honestly still just bamboozled by that 9. That was one of the best turns that I've seen this event so far, and it's only day 2. There's still so much room to move, and you know what the best thing is about this heat as well? We are still in the opening round for the women's, so we're not going to say goodbye to either Sierra or Reed right now if they get knocked out or knocked into that elimination round after this.
Reed wants a big score herself, bit of a slopey start to this one. Here we go, starting to bowl up through this inside. Big section turn there. Unfortunately, a little bit too much on that back foot. Couldn't get the weight rolling over the hip there to come back down. So Reed, she's going to start again, having to, look for a 9.83. It's doable in one turn. We know that excellent is doable in one turn. Reed's got this really epic backhand hook. When she connects, it's really, it makes you, make an involuntary noise. You're like, oh, when you watch Reed really connect with a section. She actually competed over in Bolito early this year and then went over and watched J-Bay. So she's already surrounding herself with the world's best because you can tell she really wants to be there.
And she's 16 years old. To have that awareness so young is pretty incredible. And she's got, as you said, Jessie, that hook is huge that she's got under her belt. And I feel like right now you could kind of see maybe the overthinking starting to come in. So she needs to really reset. We still have 18 minutes to go in this heat. We pretty much have half the heat left. And Reed has a great opportunity right now to just reset and go, okay, it's all good. Let me just see if I can get into the 7s and above, which she definitely can. So can Sierra. If they can do that, then they're putting themselves back into the firing line of first place.
Yeah, thinking back to Sierra's run to her first World Junior title over in America. She took down a lot of big names that are actually in this draw, in the likes of Talia Swindle, Laura Rapp, Anastasia Venter from South Africa, so she's already started to make a couple enemies. She's looking for another title here. We're going to see if she can get it. Right now, she's got a bit of answering to do. 15.83 is the total she's looking for. 17 minutes to go. Isla putting on an absolute clinic. We're going to a quick ad break. We'll be right back with the remainder of this heat. Well, you've tuned into the right heat. We've got a 9-point ride to the name of Isla Huppets, and we're straight into some more surfing here. Sierra starting to widen her stance. We know what that means. Goes for an air reverse. Unfortunately, just misses the grab there. But during the break, we saw Reed Van Wagener pick off a great looking wave, and it just teed off all the way down the line. We'll catch back up with that in a second. But a 9 and a 6.83 has left our 4-time stab high champion and previous World Junior Champion needing a combination of points in the opening round.
How crazy is that? This is the opening round. We're literally day 2 of this event and we're seeing excellent scores be locked in. People be putting combinations. This is that last one of Reed, deep off the bottom. It's a smaller wave, but then she really starts to open up here, and that's that backhand hook that we're talking about. She's got it on lock. Go straight up into that section once again. So Reed, she's looking to better those scores. She needs a 9.83. It won't be that, but that was a solid connection there, throwing a fan of spray. And, she's in a good position to sort of wriggle her way back up into that, 6s and above and really challenge for first. But it's just that wave selection right now. It's an okay wave, a little bit smaller though. So that's where we're going to start to see things come in. You can do good surfing on small waves, but we'll see the scores be capped at that.
You know what? I feel like that's not even Reed's best.
No,
it's
no
probably
way.
her absolute cruise control, because when Reed really drives into it, gets a meaty section coming back towards her, yet something pretty special. That score locking in, it's right where you saw it going through. It's a 5.57, so not lessening that requirement. Still needs a 9.83 for the lead here. Isla Huppets holding it down. 14 minutes to go. Sierra Kerr, like we mentioned, needs a combo. But we've said it before, she's a 4-time stab high champion. She's really leading the charge, I'm going to say, in the side of women's aerial. She's got great technique, and she's consistently winning in those specialty air events in both ocean and pool. So she's actually done it both, where I feel like we're seeing a lot of people start to learn how to do airs in pools, and it's epic because I can't even do an air. But you see Sierra, she's got that same technique and that same lift and height in her airs as she does in a pool in the ocean.
And it's hard to do as well because you're looking at, you know, the difference in the power, the difference in the section, in the pools. It's just constantly there. You know where that section is. You have to analyse it when you're surfing in the ocean. It changes. You need to adapt. You need to maybe change your entry into it. So Sierra, as you said, Jessie, she has it on lock. She looks comfortable in the air, and you know when she's going to do it as well.
Yeah, current heat leader, having a look now. She's trying to better a 6.83. She's going to need to connect with a section just like that one. She's chasing a bit more down the line, but you could see just that wave pushing her a little off balance on that second turn there for Isla Huppets. That board looking great under her feet right now.
I remember watching a Australian junior title 2 years ago with Isla Huppets in it, as well as Mila Coco Brown, and both of these women were going to the air. It was huge, and you know, we can see Isla's rail game right here. She's so good at those turns. It looks like she's got super glue or something on her feet. It's like she's not even worried about falling off. But Isla as well, she's in that air conversation. She's good at doing air revs. I vividly remember this final, seeing Isla do a frontside air reverse, and then Mila Coco Brown doing a little bit of a bigger one behind her out the back. And Mila ended up taking the win in that event and was Australian junior champion. But Isla put up a great fight, and it's probably one of the best women's heats that I've seen in a really long time.
Yeah, I remember
junior
that too.
Women's.
Minute to go as well.
Yeah.
So there was pressure on both of the ladies, and they just outperformed each other. It was really cool to see those two great mates as well. They're just pushing each other. And I think it's great to see that, you know, all of these women and men, but more specifically chatting about the women right now, they're pushing each other so much, but they're not at the point where they're not friends. They're not they're not enemies. They're not taking that competition back to land. They're supporting each other and helping the community grow. And I honestly think that's why we're seeing women's surfing grow at such a rapid pace, because we're seeing women support women.
Well, you feed off each other's energy, right?
And that's where the magic happens, honestly.
Yeah.
I really loved seeing this new wave of women surfing, thinking back to, you know, even just not even just the new wave, but thinking back to, you know, our predecessors who did the hard yards for women surfing to get to where it is today, thinking of Pauline Menzer, Pam Burridge. They all stuck together. You know, they supported each other through the hard times, and big thanks to those women, because now we get to see the world's best under 21 in the Philippines competing and performing at such a high level, to the point that we have nines in the opening round. Sierra Kerr, she wants some excellent numbers herself. Great looking bowl here. Nice connection on that first one. A little bit hung up there. She's got to go to the rail. She's got that skidded out carve on lock there. Might get some more to work with, and she does. So 3 nice turns for Sierra Kerr. Anything above a 5.83 is going to help her situation at this point, because right now, 10.5 minutes to go, you break combo, the lead's not out of reach still.
Yeah, it's not. And I think even though Isla does have that 9 and a 6.83, I do still feel like it's a situation where she's not quite safe. She's got 1 foot into the round of 16. That was a good first turn for Sierra. You could see she got a little hung up, and then, that could have gone either way, that turn for Sierra Kerr. But as you said, Jessie, she's got it on lock and then finished it nicely. It was a good 3-turn combo. I feel like we're still yet to see more from Sierra, and you can see that she's really feeling like she wants that air section. She wants to take to the sky. You could see it on her previous wave. So hopefully she gets an opportunity in the last 10 minutes and enters, or, you know, brings that conversation back.
Yeah, do you think the judges are going to see those as mistakes or flair on that wave there for Sierra?
Well, that was a good turn from Reed, but I think it kind of lacked a little bit of the flow that we're used to seeing from Sierra. It wasn't a bad wave at all. It was just more a little bit tricky, a little bit misjointed in some moments. So I feel like we do have more to see from Sierra Kerr. We know that there's more to give. That was a really strong turn from Reed. But again, both women just a little bit out of time. And that's, unfortunately, with Isla's Huppets, she's been so in tune with her timing and her turn selections right now. So when you're seeing people be a little bit offbeat, it makes it stand out a lot more.
Taking a look right now, Lennox Smith gearing up for his heat. He's coming up against Troy Espejon, one of the local boys, one of the very talented Espejon brothers. He's in the elimination round. He's found himself in that round before, especially this time last year. crazy buzzer beater finishes for Lennox Smith consistently last year. We've got a couple big names in the elimination round, thinking of Keone Lasser, Lucas Skinner, Willem Watson, Dylan Wilcoxon, Riki Sato, from Japan. And there he is, Troy Esperjon. He was a real standout yesterday, looking super sharp on his feet, but Dane was just in another gear yesterday, unfortunately. Came up against a very informed Dane Henry. Troy snapping his board right before his event, so not on his magic board, on his backup board, and still surfing great on it. Really talented goofy footer, son of Dodo Esperjon, who for a long time was known as the best goofy footer in Siargao.
Yeah.
Challenged now by Filma Alapayo. You think of Rima Magaluna. There's a lot of talented surfers coming out of that part of the world. Right now, though, Lennox Smith is trying to take on one of Siargao's best. Bit of sportsmanship. We love to see that at the start.
This is when we talk about that, fun-loving, larrikin sort of vibe from Lennox. As soon as that hooter goes, that facade drops.
Oh, yeah.
And he's a lethal competitor.
It's all part of his game. It's all part of his game.
And also, Jesse, you mentioned yesterday, Dane, taking out that heat. He was actually really, really unwell the night before. Yeah, I was like, oh, I had a little bit of insight from Adam Dufner, his coach, saying he was, not feeling too great and was almost thinking maybe I'll just forfeit that round. But Dane, he just was like, you know what? I know that I need to just surf this heat, get myself in rhythm, and ended up taking it out. So,
yeah, can't expect much less from Dane Henry. Canyu's really turned into this incredible competitor, sharp and well-rounded. Right now, 7 minutes to go in this heat. Isla Huppert's with the lead and priority. Probably the dark horse coming into this heat. You've got names like Reed, who has gone on to have a really great season, her first season on the Challenger Series, and then obviously this international name of Sierra Kerr. So Isla probably the one with the most point to prove, and what a way to do it, in this heat. She is really stamping herself as, right now, the best female junior in this round. She's got the highest heat combo and the highest score of the event so far. We haven't seen anyone else break into that 9 range.
Yeah, she's definitely, I feel like she hasn't even worried about who's in her heat. She's just wanting to surf her best. And I feel like Isla, she has such a great support team around her, people that are just really feeding off that energy and helping her make those decisions. What board am I going to make? Where am I going to sit? Things like that. She has her dad, Marcus, here, which I know really helps to keep her at ease. But Isla's also just quite happy to do her own thing. She's like, you know what? I'm going to do my own thing, focus on me, and it's quite clearly working for her. She's got 2 incredibly talented sisters, Mia and Anna, back at home as well, who I'm sure are tuning in. And it's, being at these World Junior Championships, it's a big thing. You're in the mix to be a World Junior Champ, and that's huge. We've already got one in this heat, being Sierra Kerr. And I feel like Sierra has a target on her back, having that title to her name.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. All three of these women from really talented surfing families. Like you mentioned, the sisters of Isla. We've seen Mia go on to compete in some Challenger Series events. Anna, she's still quite young, but she's surfing so well. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw her compete in one of these in a couple of years' time. Obviously, Sierra, her dad Josh, everyone knows him. He's such an icon of our sport. And then Reed's talented brother on that longboard tour. So all of these guys can kind of feed off that family, environment, which a lot of people don't usually get to have. So pretty cool for our women right now to be able to have some family on the road and understand the sport, the sport from the inside out.
Well, it's a sense of comfort as well. You've got that comfort with you. You've got, a space where you're feeling really comfortable and you're like, cool. I've got my dad here or my brother or my sisters or my whole family, whatever that is. And it takes a lot of pressure and stress off because you're just already, feeling at ease with those people supporting you here. So I know Sierra, her dad Josh, travels with her a lot. I'm sure he's giving her words of advice.
Yeah, having a paddle here. Goes to the yag, misses the grab again, unfortunately, there for Sierra Kerr. So she's going to be looking for another one. You can tell a bit frustrated. They're usually turns she's got on lock there for Sierra. So she didn't break combo on that last wave. She got a 5.4. So still chasing a 5.83 to move out of combination land. And that's kind of the big goal at this point for Sierra. She really wants to make it as easy as possible for her, and she needs to get 2 waves in 4 minutes. And going to the air is definitely one way to do it.
Yeah, it is for sure. Unfortunately, that section just didn't quite have the, the wave underneath it where she was able to kind of engage with that power. So it is what it is. Sometimes you have them unlocked, some days, other days you don't. Maybe it's even some heats you do, some heats you don't. I vividly remember Sierra Kerr taking out the Shargout International Surfing Cup 2 years ago now, back in 2024, off the back of 2 big airs. And that's probably the first time that's happened in an event for a woman.
Isla looking to improve. A little late to that first section here. Another bowl. Great connection there for Isla Huppert. She is going from strength to strength here, trying to get some more down the line. This is where we start to see the waves slope out a little bit. She's going to lay her rail, really flare her technique, get a bonus finishing turn here for Isla. So trying to better that 6.83 read. Good looking bowl. Just unfortunately, I feel like letting her bottom turn go a little bit too early there and then not getting around the inside. You could see it left her slightly off kilter after that turn.
It's, Reed is surfing so well, but when you go back to back with Isla, who is just it's really the Isla heat right now. She's in control. She's probably going to better the 6.83, to be honest. And you can really see that start to stand out if you're just off time. It was a really good, strong first turn, Jessie, but as you said, just gets caught behind. You can see the wave not even really open up. So unfortunately for Reed, she had a great start, and she's got a 6 and a 5.57, and usually you'd be thinking, yeah, you're on to be into the round of 16 so early on in an event, but she really needs to lift right now, and it just, it feels like it's the Isla show.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Reed herself, she's got 11.5 points, just like you mentioned. That would have won pretty much all of the other heats in this round, bar maybe 2 or 3. So that was just, that is kind of the goal, is to get 12 points, at least in the opening round, and she's got pretty close to doing that. So nothing shy of her performance. It's just like you mentioned, it's been the Isla show, just on those big sections, throwing those hammers down. And now she's got a formula for success, Isla. So hopefully she keeps sticking to it, keeping it nice and simple, big single turns from the young Australian. We've got Sierra Kerr. She's looking out the back. 90 seconds to find 2 waves. We've seen it happen before. Let's see if Sierra can do it. Great air. Unfortunately, goes down. She got the grab this time, but just landing in a bit of a weird spot. But you can see she's still got such great pop on her airs.
Wow, a moment like that could have really changed that heat for Sierra Kerr. If she had made that, we're talking excellent for sure for that. I mean, that was a really technical air. She got very tail high. Unfortunately, just the completions, if you're not completing it, you don't get the score. So risk versus reward, but Sarah had to go for it. She was in a position where she's in combo. There's not much else she can do. Yeah. So I loved that approach and that commitment.
Yeah, she's definitely doing what she needs to be doing at this point in time. Unfortunately, 40 seconds to go. It's probably not going to happen for Sierra Kerr. This is going to be one of those heats she kind of is just going to want to forget about. Leave it in the water. She's still swinging. She's such a competitor. She really wants to break this combo right here. She's coming through this inside, getting a showcase, that rail surfing that the whole world has grown to love, along with her airs. She's going to come through this inside, tag it for a turn. You can see a bit of deflation in the body language, looking a little bit just frustrated with that performance. Reed, that's what we're talking about. Big turn into another swooping carve here. Looks like she's already down through the inside section. This heat's over. This is going to be the last wave of the heat, but let's see what she can get done out the back. We're going to come back with the results of this incredible heat, but it feels like it's going to be Isla Huppert's with a 9 taking the win here. Elimination round coming right up. We've got Lennox Smith and the local boy Toby Esquihon battling for a spot in the round of 16. Bringing in Paul Evans to the booth. Enjoy.
Welcome back to the action here from the Philippines. A beautiful morning, blue skies and elimination rounds for the men hitting the water. Lennox Smith, 20-year-old out of Australia, taking on a local with a solid surfer name in this part of the world, Troy Espejon. He's from Cloud9. I'm Paul Evans. She's Truzy Starling. Morning.
Good morning, Paul. I'm so happy to have you here.
I'm happy to have me here.
Oh, yes. Day 2, let's go.
Look at the waves. It's blue. It's pretty smooth. There's energy. What are we thinking? How are we seeing this Where are we going to get scores out here? What are we trying to do? What's the name of the game?
The name of the game, that's a good question, Paul. I'm feeling like if you see a lip, hit it.
Smash it?
Yeah,
out
absolutely.
the back, that section out the back seems to have a bit of meat on it.
Yeah, well, it's changed a little bit, the condition since yesterday. It's dropped a fraction, but there is still some really good inside bowls.
Here goes the goofy Troy, opening up, bends into his bottom turn and gives it a hit late off the top to finish. He will get a completion. He'll get a score on the board as well, and that'll feel good for him just to get a busy start here.
Yeah, it's a smaller wave, but he does really well to kind of navigate these sections, goes up and into it a little bit late, but does well to ride out. I mean, Troy, he's such a strong, goofy-footed surfer. His brother Toby as well here representing the Philippines.
Here goes Lennox Smith, smooth as he builds up speed and then goes off the top. Timing gets just a little wrong. He's tangled. He will get out the back and try and find priority. As an expert of Filipino surfing, you spent a lot of time over here.
Yeah.
How good are these Espajon brothers?
Oh, they're pretty good. Yeah, they are from over in Cloud 9, so they're used to surfing those kind of steeper, more hollow waves. So coming over to La Union, particularly here at Mona Lisa Point, it's a little bit fatter, doesn't have that steep section. So it's more about those turn selections for them and really identifying, okay, cool, this is actually where I need to go straight up into it. But when you have the support and the people here surrounding you in regards to the Filipino community, no matter where you're from, they're here to support the Filipino wildcards, and they're like, yeah, okay, any advice and any info we can give you, take it. And they're such, they're such a sponge, they take all that information in and try and digest it out in the heat.
What's your thoughts on that shiny black board, though, in this blazing sunshine? It looks quite melty, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Quite
I'm not a blackboard girl myself, but, whatever works for you.
So quite a bit of wax on there we saw on the walk down. He seemed to be very well attached to it to open up, and he'll keep a close eye on Lennox Smith, who will sit with that priority and try and make amends for just a little misstep. Been impressive, though, hasn't he, last year in this event? Tell us, I really enjoyed from him that clip that he made with Oki earlier in the year. How good was that?
Yeah.
Seems like a bit of a character, Lennox.
He is, yeah.
Tell us a bit more about him.
Yeah, we actually were saying this yesterday. He is a bit of a larrikin, when he doesn't have the ration, he's super fun-loving, like cracks a joke whenever he wants, and he's funny. You're always laughing when you're with Lennox. But then as soon as the hooter goes, it's like the facade is gone and he's ready to lock in and have a bit of fun. And he's happy to just kind of take the mickey out of himself afterwards, but he's ready to lock in. He got equal third here last year, so I feel like Lennox, he wants to keep doing better. He's got his best mate, Huey Vaughan, here as well. So those two together, you're in for a good chuckle.
Pretty strong team from the Aussies here in the Philippines for World Juniors. Speaking of which, let's go down here from one of them. She smashed the last heat. She's standing by with Stacey Galbraith.
Thank you, Paul, and welcome, Paul. Great to have you, mate. Isla, congratulations. Thank you for the entertainment. How good does a turn like that feel in a jersey?
Yeah, not bad. I don't know, it was such a sick wave and such a sick section, so I just put everything into it. Felt good.
You're no stranger to that. Big turns and big moments.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my strengths. I definitely look for a nice closeout section, and I got one in that heat, so that was nice.
You grow up surfing lots of beautiful points. Tell us how hard it is to surf this wave and not get too sucked into chasing it down the line and just focusing on what's in front of you.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of the waves, especially down the end, fizzle a lot and just go fat. But I don't know, you're just out there, you just look for one big section, and yeah, that's about it.
You had a couple of days off before your heat. Are you someone that looks at the heat draw and looks at the names, or do you just worry about what heat you're in and get out there?
I've never really been like one to think too much about who's in my heat or what heat I am. I just focus on myself and the waves and everything.
And clearing those neural pathways.
Yep, definitely.
I'm sure there's a packed house watching at home. Did you want to say good morning to everyone back at home?
Yeah, thanks to everyone back home watching.
Go on, name some names, call some people out.
Well, I reckon my mum would be watching, my two sisters, probably my nan and poppy, and all my aunties and uncles and cousins, and thanks as well to all the friends watching.
There you go. Well done. Congratulations, Isla. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Stacey. That was thorough, wasn't it?
I loved it. He covered all the points.
Gets it done, doesn't he?
He does.
He shows up day after day with
Yep.
that infectious enthusiasm, professionalism. What a guy.
He brings the energy for sure.
We'll fly over the point here and just drink in the sea. There's a little breeze blowing. It's still pretty smooth out there on the sea surface. Kind of dreamy looking conditions as we make the most of this swell. We opened up yesterday. Some really fun conditions. What were some of the key learnings? Any major upsets from you? Anyone emerging as a front runner from your point of view, True?
That's a really good question, Paul. I feel like no major upsets because we didn't really lose anyone yesterday because you don't lose anyone in that first round. Lennox, though, that was a good first turn. He's got such a whippy start. I love how he just pushes off that back foot and gets that little bit of extra rotation. And then Troy as well. He's got a different style, of course, being a goofy footer, but a different approach. And, right in front of Lennox, wow, just kicks off basically over the top of him. So a good back and forth between these two competitors. But Winter, he just picked up where he left off from last year, to be honest. Had a great heat yesterday, took it out, so we won't see him surfing today. Lucas Cassidy, actually, the Mexican.
He's good.
He was bringing the passion. He was bringing the fire, a few claims left, right, and center. I was loving it. It was really exciting to see. And then highlights for the women was honestly that last heat of Isla's. It was huge. A 9, that's the biggest score we've seen in the event so far. But yesterday it was tricky. I was talking with Stace a fair bit, and we were saying that those opening round heats you really need them. You need them to kind of figure out where you fit in the lineup. It was tricky to kind of find the spots to line up with and to sit out there. It was such a big open ocean, and there was really a lot of flat spots in the heats. There wasn't many waves rolling through, and then you get some big sets. So it was tricky to navigate for sure. In your way, I swear.
Yeah, just got to set the wave, didn't he, Len? And found that wave. Didn't need to do too much. Got a couple of turns done. Got the 5 locked in, I think. Pretty kind of smart, strategic type of surfing. And then the reply from Troy, just a little bit of a softer one. He kind of did well to make a completion, but he's got a little bit to do here. And he spent the most of this heat thus far under the priority of Lennox. We'll look to try and snaffle something a little bit more significant as well. But interesting to see the approaches and whether surfers have been kind of light-hearted about it or whether they're really sort of loading up emotionally. Let's have a look at Lennox here. Nice and crisp. And then a decent section stands up and he'll whip all the way back around. Hit the white water again, looking really loose. Little extra zag in his zig as he'll bring it through the midsection and he'll find a lip here. He'll go layback to add a bit of variety and just swinging away. It's very smooth and polished. And I think he enjoyed that.
Yeah, I think so too. That was a fun wave, honestly, and a fun wave to watch because you're not sure what he was going to do. That first turn again, he's got that on lock. And I love when Lennox goes to his rail. This one right here, just a little bit of extra power in it as well. And this wave honestly just kept opening up. And we haven't really seen ones like that with a big, long wall. Love, as you said, Paul, that variety. And then up and over to just finish it. I feel like Lennox, he is from Shell Harbour, particularly that Barrack Point area. So he's used to surfing all these different waves, especially waves of consequence. Lennox is not scared. He got second at the NIAS Pro last year, which is a right point as well. So we know that he's good on his forehand. His backhand as well is really strong. So I just think for Lennox, it's about finding that groove.
It's the Spaniard, Suarez, coming up in next here against the wildcard out of Brazil, Klausner. That'll be our second heat for elimination rounds. And as a competitor looking on and seeing this morning, I think you'd be quite pleased to see pretty consistent. Quite a lot of opportunity. Just 2 of you obviously in the water as well, so a chance to bang a couple of scores.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a little smaller today, but I feel like that's actually working in our favour. It's really fun. There's good opportunities, and there is definitely slow moments. But yesterday we were seeing sometimes 5-10 minutes without a wave. So it's more consistent, which is really good.
What about this Australian team that are here? We watched Australia go to glorious victory in El Salvador in the ISA Juniors, didn't we? How good is this Aussie team? And what about chance of maybe even going men's and women's junior champions here this year? It's not been done for a while.
Yeah, I think there's a high chance of it happening. Just off the likes of that last one of Isla. You know, we saw Dane Henry win the juniors and the opens, and he has the same team here as well for this event. So that, to me, makes him pretty lethal, makes him definitely a target to be winning that. And Winter getting second here last year, he's the same. He's got the same support team. His mum is here. Looks like a very similar routine. So
Huey Vaughan. Wow.
Yeah. Lennox. It's sort of incredible, you know, the talent and the depth of talent that we have in the Australian team. Willem Watson as well. So there's a good possibility for that to happen. And as an Australian, very, very proud Australian, I'd be happy to see that. But then you look at the rest of the draw and you're thinking, oh, hang on a minute. The talent in this event is huge.
Yeah, let's see how it all unfolds. We're looking forward to a great week of surfing back in La Union in the Philippines. Provided us with fun conditions last year. And looking this week, we're making the most of this swell. Maybe a couple of quieter days coming up, and then some more energy coming to finish for next weekend. Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah, I think so. It's looking like tomorrow and the next day is going to be kind of fun, but it's sort of a wake up and see sort of couple of days. And then, definitely gets better towards the back end of the period. We'll have the first international longboard QS also starting after this, but that looks like it's so far long range. Looks like it could be pretty big. So we're just got to deal with what we got, and we're lucky that it's kind of pumping right now.
Yeah, it's one of those places as well. It's definitely something I picked up last year where you got the forecast. But there's also definitely some of those more local swells, and you expect it to be small, and there's fun waves out there. So it really is one of those places where you do use the forecast, but just come down in the morning. I'd say it's a lovely temperature in the morning, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so nice.
Come with your little cup of coffee and have a look over the sea, and it's all kind of purple and pastel coloured. And
it's the best way to start the morning, Paul. With a coffee, can't complain. The tides at the moment, they're calling them the mono tides because not much really changes throughout the whole day. So feeling like we'll see the conditions be very similar throughout this day of action, and potentially the rest of the days as well. So it's not going to change too much, which for the surfers is such a good thing because they don't have to worry, I'm on high tide or I'm on low tide. It's all very similar.
Well, that long wave at Lennox Road got him a 6.33, so really consolidated and put a pretty decent score on the board. And what's been actually sort of quiet this one, just wave-wise, haven't had loads, have we, come through compared to that last heat that we saw from the women, where it was a little bit more pulsing. This one quieter. When that does happen, you'd definitely rather be the surfer. He's managed to get points on the board. An opportunity now for Troy. He's got that priority. He's got a little bit to think about. Numbers, nothing crazy, insurmountable. We can still surf towards that mid-range number, and he'll have to try and be a little bit picky. On the other hand, Lennox can just roll the dice. He'll do that, coming from behind, making up ground. There's that wrapping turn in a smaller pocket, and then a bit of flares. He'll blow out the tail, and he'll click it as well. So able to be creative on waves with slightly less energy. And once again, that was super smooth. And that's the scene here. As you see the point, see that bend in the swell. Looks lovely this morning. Delightful.
Picturesque.
All sorts of waves as well down the coast there.
We got little waves that we can find. Got on a little mission. Stace was eyeing off some right point a little bit further down, and he was like, that's where we're going to be later. I was like, okay, Stace, happy to roll with your mission and see where it takes us.
Yeah, coming from the Gold Coast, he thought while he's travelling, just do something different, go and look for a right point. Yeah.
You know, stick with what you know, they say. Well, Lennox, I liked this wave. It was a smaller inside one, but this first turn was really nice. He identified that section and was so tight in the pocket, turning on a dime, and then gets something a little bit different. Nails that rotation really easily as well. So I like how he's bringing something different to each wave. That was a smooth first turn. You can see really stomping on that back foot. The timing here was really good too. Kind of went through the lip, so maybe actually a fraction late, but Lennox, he knows what he needs to do with those turns and where he needs to place them, and he gets rewarded. Yeah, he gets a 6.6, so his high score, the high score of the heat, and his total definitely heading in the right direction now, 12.93. Pretty good returns for the waves that he's caught, and a little more scoreboard pressure on the local Espejon. Surfing in this event with his brother Toby.
He's just hasn't really, well, he's in a lot of ways, just 2 of them so far. That priority for him, he's waiting for a set to come through, something significant. And it just hasn't really happened for him. And meanwhile, around him, Lennox has been able to be busier. So sort of crucial stage of the heat now, under 14 minutes to go in the elimination round. Just a little extra pressure as well, because you think about this event, you've had a bit of a while to consider your participation and what could be, and just how big it is on this stage against this level of surface. No one wants to go out the first elimination rounds. Sad times.
It is. We're not loving. I don't love saying goodbye to competitors.
13 and a half on the clock here. A little lull in the action. Time for a quick break from World Juniors here in the Philippines. More live action men's elimination round right after the break. Welcome back to the action here from the Philippines men's elimination round. Opening heat of that round from Australia, Lennox Smith. He's going all right so far. His scores are decent. They're just getting better. His last 2 waves has applied a little bit of pressure. He's taken on Troy Espejon with a bit to do. And this was during the break here, True.
Yeah, this was a nice connection there for Troy. He needed that as well. He needed that turn, that wave to give him a bit of confidence. And then Lennox, you know what he's going to do. He's going to go big. He's going to go crazy, and almost made it. Unfortunately, just coming unstuck. But Lennox is so good at those turns. He's so good. He's got that wow factor in him. And when he brings it out, you're thinking, oh, Lennox, you should be doing this all the time in Arashi. And he had a great year on the QS as well. A second in the NIAS Pro. We got third in the Tara Pro QS 6000 as well in Japan. So he's no stranger to being in the pointy end of a draw. Kind of feels a little bit, I don't know, I'm surprised to see Lennox in the elimination round.
Yeah, a couple of big names that we'll enjoy watching in the draw here today in men's elimination. But so far, so good for Lennox. With those 6s locked in, he can be a little bit playful, as we saw there on the replay. You know, anything that's not going to offer him at least the 6.5 doesn't need to bother with. So he can afford to be a little bit picky and just surf with the freedom. And when that happens, that's usually when we see the best out of our competitors. Is Gabriel Klausner, the Brazilian, here as a wild card, making his final preparations before taking on Alfonso Suarez. And Klausner, another electrifying surfer, mad air game. No real surprise there. I think I say that basically about everybody in the draw, but a lot of people pretty excited about this guy for a number of years. Finding himself taking on the Spaniard in elimination. We'll see how that all goes down. Just making sure the wax is well applied. Just a bit of tunage as well in the headphones. Get psyched up.
What's your preheat song, Paul, if you had one?
Go for something a little bit emotional. I think maybe like a power ballad.
Oh, wow.
I'm not sure about the fast music. You go get super psyched. You get out there and you kind of just sit down.
Yep.
And then you just sort of wait for a while and you wait a bit more. So then you go, and it feels like it's all unraveling.
Yeah.
Suarez will trot down the beach to the keyhole to paddle out. I'm thinking something, a power ballad.
Yeah.
Something, yeah.
I love
maybe
that.
maybe a bit of Adele.
Love. Huge.
You know, just really find something from deep within.
Yeah. Just speaks to your soul.
Yeah. Maybe a little cry on the beach and then go out and surf a heat.
Wow.
And then
just
cry,
like the
and
emotions
then cry
out.
afterwards as well, again, in the interviewer stays.
Yeah,
because it's all just a bit overwhelming. Here we go. Here goes Espejon, backhand from him. Gets forward on the board to drive it. And as quite often happens here, if you see one really lined up from the takeoff, can go into a bit of a hole. And he's having a heat where he's just out of rhythm. Almost every set that comes through seems to go the way of Lennox, who will also have prio now.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate for Troy. I feel like we had a lot of west in the swell yesterday. We want a little bit more north in it, and you can sort of see those ones that do line up and look really good. But then, yeah, it's hard because there's moments when you're thinking, I'm just going to try and go this, try my luck. If I get 2 good turns in it, then I'm looking at a good score. But for Troy, yeah, as you said, Lennox has just been on the best waves of this heat so far, and it's really just caught Troy out a little bit.
You familiar with the work of Self-Esteem?
Yeah.
Do you know who she is? Rebecca Lucy Taylor. Do you know her?
No.
Yeah, maybe her.
Maybe her. Okay.
Yeah. Depends how many
Okay.
heats I'm surfing. Obviously,
I'm loving this.
I might need a couple of tunes. Yeah, maybe a bit of Self-Esteem.
All right. Bring it on. Maybe we'll have to psych ourselves up for the next comps.
What are you running? What have you got? I mean, you actually do surf heats, so this is slightly less hypothetical than mine. What's on your playlist?
I am a big Paolo Nutini girl.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Before, so that would be
I didn't even
the
know he was
go-to.
still going.
Yeah, I love him. He actually released a new album a couple of years ago. It's really good. But I'm old Paolo Nutini before the heats.
Yeah,
Vintage.
Like mid, sort of early 2000s.
Yeah.
That was the sort of era, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
the Candy album. Love it. That is my go-to.
Just over 7 on the clock here. Lennox Smith, one of a very strong contingent from Australia here at World Juniors this year, kicking off our 2026 season once again in the Philippines. And he's going all right in the heat here. Couple of sixes. Good enough for a big lead at the moment over the local. Troy Espejon, who's struggling to find rhythm and scores, needs a big number, 9-6. He's going to do it in one wave. Still got time to get 2. A couple of sixes will get a minute, and that's really where his head's got to be at the moment. Just find a way and connect with it.
Yeah, really. It's so tough too, because it feels like, I don't know, with these 2-person heats that we're going to see throughout the rest of the day, I think it's going to be really clear who's in rhythm with the ocean and who's not. And, you know, even looking at these scores, Troy is just not quite in rhythm just yet. Lennox has got the priority when the big sets are coming through, and then he's converting as well, which is a whole nother ball game, really. But for these Filipino surfers, I've watched a lot of them compete. They do like to sit and wait. They like to not be on so many waves. They're selective with their wave selection, but right now he's just been not on the, good to excellent waves that have come through. Been unlucky, and for his brother Toby, who's coming up a little bit later on in the event as well, it's a good lesson for him.
Here's Smith again, just chops this line down with a snap to set up, and a bang up of a closeout turn. He'll get a little crunched.